What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for Aladdin. Just got back from the theater, and man, this movie, yo, I will not lie, it actually really surprised me. This movie was fucking amazing. I am legit not serious with. I'm not kidding with you. This was honestly probably one of my favorite movies that's come out of this year so far. This would definitely probably have a place on my top 10 movies list when I get to finally recording that. I never get to finally editing my top 10 movies of this year. I still get to edit that video. Oh, fuck me. I'll get to it eventually, people, so don't worry. I don't even know how many of y'all even give a shit about the fact that about my top 10, but whatever. So, anyway, so let's get right into it. So the movie is directed by Guy Ritchie and stars Naomi Scott, Will Smith, Mena Mazdoudou, Nazmi Prideh, Marwan Kenziar, and many more. And so the plot of Aladdin, well, it's Aladdin. I don't think I need to explain the plot for y'all, because most of y'all watch this movie have already seen Aladdin. You watched the 90s movie. But for you newbies out there, Aladdin tells the story of our man Aladdin, a thief that wants to one day become, that eventually falls in love with the princess Jasmine. But of course she has to marry a prince, so finds a lamb, finds Will Smith, becomes a prince, and shenanigans ensue, and you got your father over there being like, I must have power. So first of all, let me tell you guys my little history I have with Aladdin. First off, I'm kind of in the middle of the gray area for the audience in this movie, because there's going to be two types of audience that are going to be watching Aladdin. One part is the people that grew up with the original 90s movie who may have kids of their own that are going to be watching this remake. The other half is kids that have never seen Aladdin before. I'm in the gray area where I was born late. I was born too late to really grow up with the original movies when they were coming out in theaters, but still young enough where I saw them when I was still a kid on VHS. Yes, I grew up with VHS tapes, ladies and gentlemen. I know that's a shock. Some of you might be like, what the hell's a VHS? But don't worry, it was an old way you would watch movies before DVDs and Blu-ray. So don't worry. But yeah, and I will lie. And Aladdin was never really one of my favorites as a kid. I did always love because it was part of the Disney Renaissance, and I won't lie, I haven't seen this movie in years, which is probably why I ended up loving this movie a lot more than I probably would have, because it's been so long since I've seen the original Aladdin. I haven't seen that movie in like years. I mean, not really, years. So yeah, and I think that's probably why I probably ended up enjoying this movie a lot more than probably some other people would be, was because it's just been so long since I've seen Aladdin. I mean, I remember most of Aladdin, but it's not like it's definitely not completely fresh in my mind. Well, no, so let me just get into the positive. First off, I have to give props to the soundtrack. The soundtrack of this movie is fucking phenomenal. And without this, and me personally, I'm a kind of a soundtrack kind of guy where a soundtrack is important for me. That's why I end up praising movies like Baby Driver, Dunkirk, and Black Panther so much when I did my reviews of those, because their soundtracks they had some bitchin' soundtracks. And the reason Tarzan for the long time was my favorite Disney movie was because of those Phil Collins songs and the soundtrack as a whole. It was really good. And here, all the original tracks you guys might remember, like Arabian Nights, like Arabian. It's great. And I won't lie, I don't know which one I like more. Which one I like more, Will Smith's rendition of Arabian Nights or the original one from the 90s movie, but I low-key think I like the Will Smith version a little bit more. Now, so the soundtrack's good. The new song Speechless was also fucking fantastic. Soundtrack as a whole is pretty good. I love the parkour in this movie. There was such the camera work here when you got those part where you got Aladdin doing all these parkour moves to when he gets away from the guards, where he's like, where he's like, street rat, riff rap, that whole song, I love that scene. The camera work with it was fucking phenomenal. The choreography when he's just moving all around. I loved all the interesting ways he got around and moved around Arabia. It gave this scene a lot more life than I remember in the original. Because in the 90s he did parkour and did some fancy moves, but not like this. Here it was really in depth. I really liked what they did here with all the moving around. It reminded me a lot of Assassin's Creed. It reminded me a lot of Assassin's Creed. Will Smith as a genie was fucking fantastic. Good. Now, this is probably going to be where it's going to be controversial for a little bit. Now, yes, you cannot talk about this movie without comparing him to Robin Williams. But me personally, and I'm probably going to get some major shit for it, I think I honestly prefer Will Smith over Robin Williams. Now, let me explain before y'all lynch me in the comments. I grew up with Will Smith, not Robin Williams. Okay? I grew up in the early 2000s. I grew up in the early 2000s when Will Smith was at the height. With Men in Black, Shark Tales, all that other stuff. I grew up with Will Smith. Okay? and watching occasional episodes of Fresh Prince. As comedians, I've always preferred Will Smith over Robin Williams. Don't get me wrong, I love Robin Williams' Genie with all those extra voices he would do. He gave the Genie so much life. And I can understand why some people would end up preferring Robin Williams over the Genie because of how much more life he gave to the Genie when he did all those crazy voices he would do, while Will Smith is just pretty much just himself. Will Smith is Will Smith as a Genie, essentially. So if you hate it, so if you don't like Will Smith, you'll hate the Genie. Because that's essentially what Will Smith, he goes to where his comedy more is, where it's just like, his charisma, and Will Smith just being Will Smith. So if you wanted him to kind of be like a little bit more like Robin Williams, like the extra voice and everything, you're not going to get it here. So, but I love Will Smith's rendition of the Genie. I thought it was great. When we see him in just his normal human form-ish kind of thing, great stuff there, man. There were so many awesome moments in there. One other thing I gotta say is I love. Now this movie is about 2 hours long, 2 hours some odd minutes long. The original movie was about 90 minutes, an hour and 30. So there's about 30 minutes of additional content. This movie uses that 30 minutes to its strength because they add a lot more to the character of this movie, like of the Genie. They give the Genie a little bit more of a role. You still kind of have everything happens the way it does in the movie, but there's a little bit more meat to the Genie. A little bit in his turns character. Jasmine as a whole, oh my god, let's be honest, Jasmine was never really that great of a character by herself in the original movie. Let's be honest. She was a typical Disney princess. Here, she has character, she's so much more three-dimensional. Naomi Scott was her name, right? Yeah, Naomi Scott. Yeah, she has so much, there's so much growth to her with what she wants to do, she doesn't just be like, oh, I'm just the princess. She has a goal in mind, there's something she wants to do, and they add so much more to her and Aladdin's relationship. Like these two, like Naomi and Mena, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. Those two have such great chemistry together, and you can really see their relationship grow. It's a lot more, I guess you could say, realistic in this movie than it was in the original. In the original, it was your typical Disney relationship: princess, character, they get together. You got their a whole new world, the whole song. But here they add so much more life. They just have so much more character to them, so much more time to see their relationship develop, and it overall makes the relationship a lot more believable, a lot more three-dimensional, a lot more realistic, and of course makes it, it really does add to the film a lot. In my personal opinion, it really does add a lot to the movie. I really do like. That was the one thing that I found the most shocking about this movie was what they did with Jasmine and Gru, and what they did, giving her a lot more character development, a lot more character to herself, and just made her a lot more of a three-dimensional character rather than a one-dimensional cliche Disney princess like she was in the original. So that's one thing I love about this movie that they did right, was they added a lot to Jasmine. Aladdin, he was pretty good as well. Messa, whatever the hell, what was it? Messa, whatever, I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name. He was pretty good as well. I will say he was probably one of the weaker points of the movie, just because he just doesn't have as much charisma to himself. I mean, he has some decent charisma, and the scenes with him, there were some scenes in this movie with him that had me dying in my lap. Like, there's this one scene, which I won't spoil, but I wouldn't be surprised if it pisses off. There's the SJW's gonna start writing an article and be like, "Oh, fuck Disney! How dare you!" There's this one joke in there that was absolute perfection, man. It was great stuff, man. It was absolutely fantastic. So now let me move into the flaws I have, because I did have a couple. One, whenever the costume, this is a little bit more of a minor nitpick, but one thing I noticed is that we never see the costumes actually get dirty. They're in the desert, they're moving around sand, but they always are clean, pristine. We never see any dirt fall on them. It just kind of makes it look a little odd. That's still like a minor thing I noticed. One other thing I mentioned that I had kind of a little problem with was Jafar. And that's because now here in the movie they kind of add a little bit more to him, a little bit to why his role is. He wants power. He demands power. But I won't lie. I think I did prefer him a lot more in the anime because Jafar was such one of those like evil villains. He's evil for the sake of just being evil, and I think he was a little bit better and had a lot more to him in the anime movie back in the 90s than he does here in the live action remake. Besides Jafar, that was really the only other problem I had with the movie is that I think they do kind of change his backstory to have Jafar, which in the movie was a lot more evil just for being the sake of evil. Here he wants just power and doesn't want to be second. at the same time, I kind of prefer how he was in the anime movie, and I think it would have been better off if they just left him how he was in the movie. Me personally, so. And plus, they also changed up the ending, which this isn't a problem. This is one thing that I should tell you guys. They actually do change up the ending a little bit. I won't get into spoilers, but the events still happen the way they did in the movie. Like, they still get to point A to B to C to D. It all happened there, but the way they get to those points is slightly different. Like, if you, like, Jasmine isn't trapped in an hourglass, and you see the sands slowly start to engulf her, that's not in the movie. And along with a couple extra things, if my memory of the original movie is correct, there's a couple extra things that got changed up in the ending as well. But yeah, that's about it I have for my thoughts and opinions of the movie. Overall, I'd say I love the movie, and if you were a fan of the original Aladdin, I say you'll still get some enjoyment. Now, you might end up being a little bit like, you might end up being a little disappointed. You might say like, it's okay, if you were someone that really did grow up with the original movie. If you're someone like me who watched as a kid but hasn't seen it in years, I'd say you'll probably end up being pleasantly surprised by this movie. And honestly, keep yourself an open mind. As far as Will Smith as a genie, if you love Will Smith, you love Will Smith as a genie. If you don't like Will Smith, then you're not going to like him as the genie, I know a lot of people, I'm probably in the minority when I said I prefer Will Smith over Robin Williams, but that's just my personal preference. I just prefer him over what Robin Williams as a comedian. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. So overall, my final verdict for this movie is a 10 out of 10. Now remember guys, a 10 out of 10 on my scale doesn't mean this movie's perfection and it's the greatest movie of all time. All movies have flaws, unless your name is Terminator 2. Then you are perfection. But like Ingrid Joe, a 10 out of 10 on my scale is a benchmark what I'll compare other movies in that kind of category. So for Aladdin, this is going to be my benchmark for all future live-action remakes Disney makes on movies. So like Lion King, when that comes out later on this year, I'm really curious about what they're going to do with the Lion King, because Lion King I love me some Lion King. I'm really curious what they're going to do with Mulan, and I am still curious to this day if we will ever get a Hunchback of Notre Dame live action. I wouldn't be surprised if it just skips that movie and they maybe goes right to Pocahontas. But I would love to see Disney do a live action remake of Hunchback, because that would be really interesting to watch, because I love Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I really hope we also get one for Tarzan, because Tarzan, that's one of my personal favorite Disney movies of all time, man. So tell me down below, guys, what y'all thought. Like, did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Or were you pleasantly surprised that I was of how great this movie was? Like I mentioned, soundtrack was phenomenal. Will Smith was great as a genie, and overall, this was overall, the movie was overall really damn good. So, like I mentioned before, if you're a fan of Aladdin, you'll definitely get some enjoyment out of at least seeing all your favorite moments in the movie get reimagined, like all the songs, like A Whole New World. Like how they do A Whole New World was pretty good. I'll give that one. So yeah. So anyway, guys, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, look at the links on the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.
She's too bad.